Namaste. Today we shall see about a very important concept in Hinduism, that is rebirth, Punarjanma. According to Hinduism, a soul reincarnates again and again on earth until it becomes perfect and reunites with its source. During this process, the soul enters into many bodies, assumes many forms, and passes through many births and deaths. This concept is summarily described in the verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Just as a man discards worn out clothes and puts on new clothes, the soul discards worn out bodies and wears the new ones. According to Hinduism, a being has to live many lives and undergoes many experiences before it attains perfection and becomes one with the divine. The Hindu theory of creation suggests that creation begins when the individual souls considers itself as differentiated from the Supreme. It continues as the evolution of life. During this process, some souls manage to return to God, their source, by attaining the perfect knowledge. The remaining souls continue their existence and return to Him in the end through the great destruction that happens at the end of each time cycle. Thus, the great cycle of creation, stretching over millions of years, comes to its logical end. Once the creative process begins, each individual soul is drawn and bound to a personality called Jiva, the living being. This Jiva stands for all living forms, not just humans. It has an inner subtle body and an outer gross body. The soul remains encased within the subtle body. The subtle body, or Linga Sharira, is made up of the subtle senses, the subtle mind, breath, ego, and intelligence. The gross body is made up of the elemental body and its organs. Each jiva has an ego sense arising from perceptions, knowledge, memories, desires, attachments, and the notion of diversity and separation. Because of the ego sense, the jiva remains ignorant about its true identity and experiences delusion, duality, and attraction and aversion to the pains and pleasures. As a result of attachments and delusions, the jivas act selfishly as if they are different from the rest of creation. Due to egoism, desire-ridden actions, and selfishness, they end up suffering. Technically, the body is a container and the soul is held in it. At the time of death, the physical body and the gross mind return to the elements of the nature. But the subtle body survives and accompanies the soul to the next world. Depending upon the nature of their past deeds and the extent of subtle bodies they develop, the jivas either ascend to the ancestral heaven, Pitruloka, or descend into the hell. Hiding the indwelling spirit in its core, the subtle body stays in these worlds until the fruits of its good or bad actions are fully exhausted. Having squared off the karma and learnt new lessons, it then returns to the earth to take another birth and repeat the process. Thus, the jivas undergo innumerable births and deaths in the mortal world. They remain bound to the mortal world and the laws of nature due to desires and attachment. Death gives them temporary relief from the earthly suffering, and each birth brings them newer challenges and opens them to innumerable possibilities and opportunities, both good and bad. This goes on until they achieve liberation and enter into the immortal world of Supreme, where they remain liberated forever in a state of unity with the Supreme Self. We shall see more about it in the next part.